Good Shabbos, Good Yom Tiv, Shana Tova. Our Torah reading for the first day of Rosh Hashana begins on page 466, 467 in your Machzor, in your Koren Jonathan Sachs Machzor. And it raises the obvious question that we ask every year. If today celebrates the creation of the world, like we're going to say in Musaf, Hayom Haras Olam, why not read the story of creation from Genesis? There's plenty to discuss to inspire us there. We don't do that. We take a passage from deeper inside Genesis, the story of two mothers, two sons, one father. Sarah had wanted children and seemed unable to bear a child for Abraham. In the tradition of the time, she let her Egyptian servant Hagar carry Abraham's child, and following that, Sarah herself became pregnant and gave birth to Isaac. As Isaac grew up, Sarah took note of the conflict between the son of the surrogate, Ishmael, and her own child. She asked Abraham to banish the servant, Hagar, and her child, Ishmael, for the sake of her own child's well-being. So he does that, Abraham does that, and they are sent out to the desert, and they nearly die of thirst until God hears their cries. Meanwhile, towards the end of the reading, Abraham forges a treaty with the Philistine king. What captures our attention here are the themes of prayer, desperation, domestic conflict, and interpersonal tensions. These are unvarnished and open expressions of human emotions and drives. And the reading for Rosh Hashana, for the first day of Rosh Hashana, which because it's Shabbat will divide it into 7 separate, very short readings. The reading for this first day of the year is pointing us in the direction of empathy and understanding. Although Ishmael's descendants will live to haunt the Jewish people another day, here we have both a foreshadowing of tomorrow's reading and also a question that faces us today. What is the price of sacrifices that we might have to make for our own Shalom Bayit, our peace in the home, and for the well-being of our children and future generations? The Haftorah that we're reading today from Shmuel Aleph, 1 Samuel, 1st and 2nd chapters. Talmud Tractate Berachot, that we learned, some of us in recent months, taught us that we take our instructions for prayer step by step from the example of Hannah here in the Haftorah. She prays quietly, her lips are moving, she speaks from her heart, she asks for a son not for her own enjoyment satisfaction, because she wants to bring her son, her firstborn, to serve in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle. She is misunderstood by the religious leadership of the time, in fact, by all the men in the story. But she persisted, she prayed with the utmost sincerity, and her prayers were heard and answered in the affirmative. In our Jewish lives, we're not always understood by everyone around us. Our sincerity maybe is not appreciated as it should be. Our motives are questioned. Our intentions do not always come through. Yet we do our best in defiance of adversity and opposition. That's just one lesson from today's Haftorah.